You guys, I read this study that was looking at the experiences of parents of children with trisomy 13 or 18, especially regarding how they interface with the medical community. Trisomy 13 and trisomy 18 are common life-limiting conditions associated with major disabilities. These are genetic anomalies that sometimes can be prenatally diagnosed. This article was really interesting because parents gave a whole bunch of examples of interactions they have with their medical teams that they either considered supportive and positive or adversarial and negative. When parents described positive and supportive interactions with clinicians, the overarching theme was trust. Parents trusted clinicians when they felt the clinicians cared for and valued their child and their family, had appropriate knowledge, and supported them and gave them hope. They thought clinicians were supportive when they had good general knowledge of the condition, but were also open to learning about the specifics of the parent's child, and also showed some humility that they could learn more. So one mom said, for example, "She didn't think Owen would breathe on his own. She gave me her thoughts, but she also let me give mine. When Owen took himself off the vent, she told me that she was wrong and was inspired by Owen." The opposite example, a mother showed her doctor photos of kids who were living with trisomy 13 or 18, and he said, "Those photos aren't real. No baby lives more than hours, and you need to get your head around that." Other quotes from doctors included, "This disease is always incompatible with life, always. I know. I'm not interested in these articles. They give hope to parents when there is no hope." Parents appreciated it when they got balanced information from their doctors. One doctor said, "These children are loved, and this experience does not have to only be negative." Parents did not appreciate uniformly negative information. One doctor said, "There is nothing positive I can tell you. She will take time and love away from your other children. She will make your life difficult." Parents were more likely to trust doctors who showed that they cared about this child. One major way to do that was to use the child's name, as opposed to saying it or saying the trisomy 13 baby or something like that. They were more likely to trust clinicians who affirmed them and made them feel like good parents. "You can bathe her, change her, be there for her. Make sure you tell the other nurses that you know how to do it. You are doing great. You have done so well. She is lucky to have parents like you." The opposite of this was clinicians saying things like, "How could you have carried that to term?" The word "that." One mom reported, "I was told that as a parent I need to think of the lives of my other living children and the burden their disabled sibling could be on our family." Another doctor said, "There's one simple decision. Terminate and get on with your life. It's a no-brainer. If you'd had testing earlier, you could have done something about this." Meaning, of course, abortion. An ultrasound tech asked the parents, "Why are you here if you are just waiting for this R-word baby to die?" Parents appreciated medical teams who would allow them reasonable hope. Some examples. "Let's hope for a good outcome, that he can go home with you. Our doctor said time will tell, and that gave us room for hope. We are going to do everything we can to give you time with her." The opposite of that were clinicians who allowed no hope at all. One even specifically said, "We can't tell you anything positive because that will give you hope." One mother reported, "I was told the only way I could get an appointment with the obstetrician was if I was booking for a termination." Other doctors said, "The things needed to help your baby are things that this hospital is not willing to do. Why would you want to have this child? You will be at the bottom of the list for any medical interventions." In many cases, parents found clinicians who would support them after they gave up on clinicians who basically sucked. One mom explained, "We didn't know what to do. Then I got pressure to terminate my pregnancy. They told me she would ruin my life and there was no hope. That was too much. My baby was worth it, and I would get what she needed, so we went somewhere else." The study talks about how conflicts were more likely to ensue between parents and medical teams if the parents believed that the medical teams thought their children were better off dead. No big shock there. In fact, of the parents whose children lived longer than 3 months after birth, 74% felt that they had to fight and advocate for the medical interventions their children needed. 35% felt judged for the medical decisions that they made. The paper very helpfully ends with a summary of the recommendations parents have for clinicians who want to be helpful in these difficult and complicated situations. Know the name of our child and use it. Know the details of our case, including charts and tests, before you communicate with us. Tell us about the problems you see, but also things that aren't problems and what that means for possible outcomes. Balance the information. We need to know that caring for a disabled child is challenging, that experiencing the death of our child will likely be the most difficult time in our lives. But also, tell us that our child's life, even if short, can have a positive impact on our family. Recognize that this is a difficult time for us and empower us by telling us what we are doing well. Words are important. Do not tell us our child is a waste of resources. Tell us our child has a life-limiting condition, not a lethal condition that is incompatible with life. Focus on what you will do, not what you do not want to do. And don't use suffering as a means to discourage non-futile interventions. Give us reasonable hope, as appropriate, for each step in the journey. For example, hope we can spend moments with our child even in utero. Hope that we can meet our child at birth. Hope that we can take our child home, that we can raise our child, that our child will eat on his own. Let us live these moments one step at a time. Suggest parents connect with trisomy support groups. And remember that you are very important to us and our family.